Most people believe dementia starts with memory loss, but the earliest signs can appear years before, hidden in the way you walk, move, or even grip a jar. Over 55 million lives are touched by this disease, yet families often overlook the subtle warnings that could change everything. Ignoring these signs can mean losing precious chances to protect your independence and your mind. So what are the 10 early signs of dementia you should never ignore? And how can you spot them before it is too late? A subtle change in the way a person walks can be one of the earliest signs that something deeper is happening in the brain. Shorter steps, a shuffling stride, or a slight stoop in posture may appear so gradually, they may be dismissed as normal aging. Yet studies from the Rush Memory and Aging Project reveal that these changes often surface 3 to 7 years before any diagnosis of dementia is made. On a busy sidewalk, an older adult who once moved briskly might now take smaller, hesitant steps. Their feet may not lift as high, sometimes dragging just enough to catch on uneven pavement. Family members might notice a new reliance on handrails or a need to pause at curbs. Even a slight wobble or a momentary loss of balance can be a quiet warning. These early shifts are not simply about tired muscles. Deep within the brain, regions like the basal ganglia and motor cortex coordinate every movement. When dementia begins to disrupt these connections, the signals sent to muscles become slower and less precise. That is why changes in walking, once thought to be a normal part of getting older, now carry new meaning for doctors and researchers. Clinical tests such as the timed up and go can reveal these early difficulties. In that test, a person stands, walks a few meters, turns, and sits. A time over 12 seconds, or a noticeable increase from previous months, is cause for closer attention. Even simple daily tasks, rising from a chair or walking in a straight line, can become unexpectedly challenging. A review of home videos and family journals often shows these signs in hindsight. Annette G. began taking shorter steps and struggled with utensils 3 years before her diagnosis. Her family, looking back, wished they had recognized these clues sooner. Scientists now urge families to pay attention to the way their loved ones move. A change in stride, posture, or balance is not just a sign of aging. It may be the brain's earliest call for help. Catching these physical changes early can open doors to support, treatment, and a safer, more independent life. Walking, standing, and even the smallest hand movements rely on a complex network of connections deep within the brain. Motor cortex, located near the top of the head, acts as a command center, sending instructions down long nerve fibers to the spinal cord and muscles. But this system does not work alone. Basal ganglia, a cluster of structures buried beneath the cortex, help fine-tune every step, shift of balance, and change in posture. When these areas are healthy, movement feels automatic and smooth. In the earliest stages of dementia, microscopic changes begin to disrupt these pathways. Amyloid plaques and tau. Tangles interfere with the way brain cells talk to each other. White matter, the brain's internal wiring, starts to fray. As these connections weaken, signals from the brain to the muscles slow down or become jumbled. The result can be a shuffling walk or a subtle loss of balance, long before memory problems appear. Clinical studies now confirm that motor decline often precedes cognitive symptoms by several years. Research from the Rush Memory and Aging Project found that people with slower gait speed or increased stride variability were up to twice as likely to develop dementia within the following decade. These changes are not simply about muscle strength or joint stiffness. They reflect early damage in the brain's movement circuits, damage that can be measured with simple tests. The timed up and go test, for example, challenges both the brain and body. A person stands up from a chair, walks 3 meters, turns, and sits back down. If this takes more than 12 seconds, or if the time increases significantly over a few months, neurologists pay close attention. Other checks, like walking heel to toe in a straight line or rising from a chair without using the arms, can also reveal early warning signs. These observations matter. A change in how someone moves, even if slight, is a window into the health of their brain. Recognizing these clues early allows for timely evaluation, support, and strategies to maintain independence. The body's quiet signals often speak long before words or memory begin to falter. Struggling to open a stubborn jar or noticing a handshake that feels unexpectedly weak can be more than minor annoyances. These moments may reveal early changes in the brain's ability to control fine motor skills. In kitchens across the world, caregivers often spot this first. A loved one who used to twist off lids with ease now asks for help. Even simple tasks like buttoning a shirt or carrying grocery bags can become quietly difficult. Researchers have spent years studying the link between grip strength and brain health. The UK Biobank, one of the largest health studies ever conducted, followed more than 500,000 adults and found a clear pattern. People with lower grip strength were up to twice as likely to develop dementia in the years ahead. This connection held true even after accounting for common conditions like arthritis or general frailty. The Rush Memory and Aging Project echoed these findings, showing that a fading grip often appears years before memory problems are diagnosed. Doctors and occupational therapists now use a simple tool called a dynamometer to measure grip strength, but you do not need special equipment to notice changes. If twisting open jars, turning doorknobs, or carrying a heavy pan feels harder than it used to, that is worth paying attention to. Even a handshake that once felt firm but now seems limp can be a warning sign. These changes are not just about weaker muscles, they reflect early breakdowns in the brain's motor pathways. When neurons struggle to send clear signals, the hands lose some of their strength and precision. Everyday actions become slower, shakier, or more awkward. Testing grip strength at home can be a quick screen. Try opening a tightly sealed jar or squeezing a softball. If these tasks suddenly feel much harder, it may be time to talk with a doctor. Early recognition gives families a chance to seek help, adapt routines, and protect independence. It also opens the door to medical checks that can rule out other causes and begin the right kind of support. A fading grip is easy to overlook, but it is one of the body's most reliable clues that the brain may need attention. Simple everyday tests can reveal what words and memory often cannot, giving families a head start in caring for brain health. A mug overflows in the kitchen, coffee pooling across the counter. For years, Mrs. K poured her morning cup with steady hands, but lately she finds herself misjudging when to stop. A misstep on the stairs, a bump into a doorway. These are not just clumsy moments. They can be early signs that the brain is struggling to interpret the world's sights, sounds, and smells. Small clues. The smell, often taken for granted, is one of the brain's most sensitive warning systems. Research from Dr. Richard Doty and colleagues shows that losing the ability to detect familiar scents like flowers, coffee, or even smoke can occur 5 to 10 years before memory problems begin. This is not just a stuffy nose. The olfactory bulb, tucked deep within the brain, is among the first regions affected by Alzheimer's disease. When it falters, subtle changes in daily life follow. Spices seem dull, food tastes flat, or favorite perfumes go unnoticed. Families might not recognize these changes right away, but they matter. In large cohort studies, people with reduced smell were shown to have a much higher risk of developing dementia later on. Hearing, too, is closely tied to brain health. Difficulty following conversations, especially in noisy places, or turning up the television louder than before can be more than age-related hearing loss. Dr. Frank Lynn's long-term studies reveal that every 10 decibel drop in hearing increases the risk of dementia. The strain of trying to follow speech taxes the brain, leaving less energy for memory and reasoning. People may withdraw from social gatherings, not out of disinterest, but because the world feels muffled or overwhelming. This withdrawal can be mistaken for mood changes, but it often starts with the ears, not the heart. Depth perception is another quiet casualty. A person who once navigated stairs or curbs without thinking may now hesitate or reach for support. Pouring liquid, judging the distance to a chair, or stepping off a bus can become unexpectedly challenging. These errors are rooted in the brain's visual processing centers, which can be affected in the early stages of neurodegeneration. Even minor fender benders or frequent trips over rugs can be clues that something deeper is happening. Doctors now recommend simple checks. Ask if familiar smells seem faded. Notice if the television volume keeps climbing, or if a loved one avoids group conversations. Pay attention to small missteps, overfilled mugs, bumped furniture, or confusion on stairs. These are not just quirks of aging. They may be the brain's way of asking for help. Early recognition of sensory changes gives families a chance to seek evaluation, adapt environments, and support independence for as long as possible. Pay attention. At 2 a.m., the Lee family awoke to the sound of footsteps in the hallway. Their father, a man who once slept soundly through the night, now wandered the house in confusion, convinced he needed to catch a bus to work, a job he had retired from years earlier. When the family tried to comfort him, he seemed startled and disoriented, unable to explain what had pulled him from bed. Episodes like this are more than just restless nights. They can be an early sign that the brain is struggling to maintain its nightly routines of repair and renewal. Sleep disturbances, chronic insomnia, frequent waking, vivid or unsettling dreams are now recognized as some of the earliest warning signs of dementia. In many cases, these disruptions appear long before memory loss or confusion. People may toss and turn for hours, wake up repeatedly, or act out dreams by talking, yelling, or even moving their limbs. Restless leg movements or the urge to get up and walk can keep both the individual and their family awake. Scientists have uncovered a critical link between sleep and brain health. During deep sleep, the brain's glymphatic system, discovered by Dr. Macon Nedergaard and her team, goes to work, clearing away toxins and waste products that build up during the day. One of these waste products is beta amyloid, a sticky protein that forms the plaques found in Alzheimer's disease. When sleep is disrupted, this nightly cleaning process falters, and harmful proteins start to accumulate, setting the stage for future damage. Research published in Science by Z and colleagues in 2013 demonstrated that the glymphatic system is most active during deep, uninterrupted sleep. Even a few nights of poor sleep can reduce the brain's ability to flush out these toxins. Over time, chronic insomnia or repeated sleep interruptions may double the risk of developing cognitive decline. This connection is even stronger for people with sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep. A recent meta-analysis confirmed that untreated sleep apnea can double the risk of dementia and speed up its progression in those with mild cognitive impairment. Families often notice the signs before doctors do. A partner may mention loud snoring, gasping, or long pauses in breathing. Others might report vivid nightmares, acting out dreams, or waking up drenched in sweat and confusion. In some cases, a person may seem to sleepwalk or become agitated at night, putting themselves at risk for falls or injury. These night signals are not just quirks. They are the brain's way of sounding an alarm. Restless nights can leave a person feeling groggy, irritable, or forgetful during the day, making it harder to concentrate or remember appointments. Over time, this cycle of poor sleep and daytime confusion can accelerate cognitive changes. That's why sleep specialists now recommend screening for sleep disorders in anyone at risk for dementia, especially if night wandering, vivid dreams, or restless legs are present. Simple lifestyle changes, like keeping a consistent bedtime, creating a calm sleeping environment, or seeking treatment for sleep apnea can make a real difference. In some cases, a sleep study may be needed to uncover hidden problems. The earlier these issues are addressed, the better the chance of slowing down the changes happening in the brain. Families who pay attention to night signals and seek help early can protect their loved ones' health and safety for years to come. A once lively book club falls quiet as Mrs. Evans, its most devoted member, stops attending without explanation. Her shelves remain lined with unread novels, and the knitting she once finished in a week sits untouched for months. Friends call, but she does not return messages. Her daughter notices she no longer suggests family outings or asks about her grandchildren's school plays. This gradual withdrawal is not simply a passing mood. It is often a sign of persistent apathy, a loss of motivation and emotional drive that can appear years before memory slips or confusion sets in. Studies from the 90-plus study and other large aging cohorts reveal that apathy is one of the earliest behavioral changes linked to dementia. People who lose interest in hobbies, stop initiating conversations, or withdraw from social circles are twice as likely to develop dementia in the coming years, even when sadness or guilt are absent. Unlike depression, which brings a heavy sense of loss or hopelessness, apathy is marked by a flatness, an absence of spark that does not lift with encouragement or positive events. Doctors use careful interviews and standardized scales, such as the Apathy Evaluation Scale, to separate apathy from depression. The difference matters. Apathy signals that the brain's frontal regions, especially those involved in motivation and dopamine signaling, may be faltering. Caregivers often notice this first: an active parent who suddenly stops gardening, or a neighbor who quietly leaves the bridge group. When motivation fades for weeks or months, it is more than just getting older. It is a call to look closer, to seek answers, and to support families in recognizing a warning sign that too often goes ignored. A conversation at the kitchen table drifts to a sudden stop. An older adult, once quick with words, now pauses mid-sentence, searching for the name of a familiar object. A spoon, a neighbor, even the family dog. These moments of hesitation can be subtle at first, brushed off as a normal part of getting older. Yet research from major aging studies reveals that trouble finding words often begins 7 years or more before any formal diagnosis of dementia. Speech-language pathologists use a simple test. Name as many animals as possible in 1 minute. Most adults can easily list a dozen or more. But for someone with early language decline, the flow slows, gaps widen, and the mind reaches for words that just will not come. This loss goes beyond an occasional slip. It is a persistent struggle that can make even everyday conversations feel like hard work. Friends and family may notice more vague terms like thing, that one, or you know what I mean, filling the spaces where precise words used to be. Recipes become harder to follow. Stories trail off, and the rhythm of speech grows uneven. Long before memory loss draws attention, these language glitches can quietly signal changes deep within the brain's temporal and frontal regions. In large cohort studies, consistent word-finding difficulties on structured tests have proven to be among the strongest predictors of who will develop dementia in the coming decade. Spotting these early hiccups, especially when they persist or worsen, gives families a crucial window for seeking help and planning ahead. A family dinner grows quiet as someone asks, for the third time, whether the meal includes garlic, forgetting the conversation from just moments before. These gaps in memory go beyond misplacing a wallet or forgetting a neighbor's name. In dementia, the mind struggles most with recent events. A person may recall childhood birthdays in vivid detail, but lose track of what happened earlier that day. Stories get repeated, appointments are missed, and questions circle back again and again, often without any awareness that they have already been answered. At the table, conversation can become a maze. Following a simple story grows difficult, especially if more than one person is speaking. The brain's ability to process and hold on to new information falters, and background noise only makes things harder. Someone who once joined in easily may now look lost, nodding along but missing the thread. Clinical studies confirm that these early lapses in the short-term memory and conversation tracking are among the most reliable indicators doctors look for. Unlike normal aging, where the occasional word slips the mind or what a birthday always forgotten, dementia causes a pattern. Recent memories fade first, and the ability to follow even simple exchanges declines. This often leads to withdrawal from family gatherings or group meals, not out of disinterest, but because keeping up becomes exhausting. Recognizing these patterns early gives families a chance to seek support, adapt routines, and help a loved one stay connected before confusion deepens. A once warm and trusting relationship can change in ways that catch families off guard. A spouse who once shared household decisions may suddenly accuse their partner of hiding money or stealing small items. These moments of suspicion are not fleeting moods. They reflect deeper changes in how the brain processes judgment, risk, and trust. Caregiver studies show that personality shifts and poor decision-making often appear before a formal diagnosis, sometimes years in advance. One evening after a misplaced checkbook, Mr. Patel insisted his wife was giving away their savings. He grew anxious over routine bills, convinced scammers were targeting their home. Once cautious, he now answered suspicious phone calls and nearly fell for a sweepstakes scam, despite years of careful financial habits. Such vulnerability points to damage in the brain's frontal lobes, the regions responsible for reasoning, impulse control, and social understanding. When these circuits falter, even the most practical person can make choices that put their safety or finances at risk. Families often notice smaller missteps first. A loved one may dress in winter clothes on a hot day or leave the stove on after making tea. Paying bills late, signing unfamiliar documents, or falling for telemarketers are warning signs that decision-making abilities are slipping. These errors are not simply forgetfulness. They reflect a breakdown in the brain's executive functions, the mental skills that help us plan, judge, and weigh consequences. For many caregivers, these changes are among the most distressing. The shock of being accused by a spouse or the fear of financial loss can strain even the strongest relationships. Recognizing these behavioral red flags is essential, not only to protect loved ones from harm, but to begin planning for safety and support as dementia advances. A quiet Sunday morning turns urgent when Mrs. Lin, a retired teacher, slips out her front door in pajamas, convinced she is late for a class she has not taught in decades. Her son finds her 2 blocks away, shivering and confused, unable to explain where she was going or how she lost track of time. Stories like this are not rare. Up to 60% of people living with dementia will wander at some point, often because the brain's internal clock and sense of place no longer match reality. Disorientation does not just mean forgetting the day of the week. It can mean believing it is morning at midnight, or that childhood friends are waiting down the street. These moments put safety at risk, especially when someone leaves home without warning or forgets familiar routes. Repetitive questioning often walks hand in hand with time confusion. A father may ask whether it is time for dinner every few minutes, not recalling the answer he just received. This is not stubbornness. It is the brain's struggle to form new memories. For caregivers, the cycle can be exhausting and emotionally draining, yet simple tools can help. Studies show that large calendars, clocks with clear displays, and written notes placed in visible spots can dramatically reduce both anxiety and repeated questions. One family found relief by keeping a spiral notebook by the door. Each time their mother asked about her doctor's appointment, they gently pointed to the note. "Doctor at 2 p.m. We will leave together." Written reminders do not just help the person with dementia, they lower stress for everyone in the home. These small adjustments turn confusion into reassurance and keep loved ones safer, even as their sense of time and place grows less certain. A set of keys turns up in the freezer, a wallet appears inside a shoe, and the television remote is found in a kitchen drawer. These are not simple lapses. Misplacing items in odd places is a sign that the brain's internal map for where things belong is breaking down. As dementia progresses, these misplaced objects often lead to confusion, frustration, and sometimes even suspicion, with loved ones accused of moving or stealing things that have simply been put away in the wrong spot. For some, the world grows even less predictable. A person may begin to see things that are not there. A child in the hallway, an animal sitting quietly in the corner, or unfamiliar faces appearing in the living room. Visual hallucinations are especially common in Lewy body dementia, affecting up to 3/4 of people with this diagnosis. These experiences can be vivid and unsettling, sometimes prompting fear or agitation. While less frequent in Alzheimer's disease, hallucinations do appear in later stages, often signaling that the disease has reached deeper into the brain's visual and perceptual centers. Physical control also fades as the disease advances. Incontinence, loss of bladder, or bowel control can arrive suddenly, bringing both practical challenges and emotional weight. For many families, this is the moment when caring at home becomes overwhelming. Medical studies confirm that incontinence is one of the most common reasons families seek professional help or consider a care facility. It signals that the brain's control over the body's most basic functions is slipping away. Alongside these changes, initiative quietly disappears. Someone who once planned family gatherings or managed bills may now spend hours sitting in silence, unmoved by activities or visitors. This is not simple tiredness or sadness. It is a loss of drive rooted in the brain's motivational circuits. When these late-stage signs appear together, families face difficult decisions about safety and dignity, and the need for specialized care. Recognizing these realities early helps prepare for the next steps, ensuring loved ones are supported with compassion and respect. When early warning signs appear, a step-by-step medical evaluation can clarify what's happening and open doors to treatment. The first conversation with a primary care doctor usually begins with a cognitive screening, most often the Montreal Cognitive Assessment called MOCA. This brief test goes beyond memory, checking attention, language, and problem-solving skills. The MOCA is especially sensitive for picking up mild cognitive impairment, sometimes catching changes before daily life is affected. Another common tool is the mini mental state examination, called MMSE, which gives a quick snapshot of overall cognitive function. Routine lab work comes next. Doctors order blood tests to rule out reversible causes, checking vitamin B12, thyroid hormones, blood sugar, and kidney and liver function. These panels help ensure that treatable conditions are not overlooked. If symptoms or history suggest it, a hearing test may be recommended, since midlife hearing loss can increase dementia risk. When diagnosis remains uncertain, an MRI of the brain may be ordered to look for strokes, tumors, or patterns of shrinkage seen in Alzheimer's and other dementias. For those with sleep concerns, an overnight sleep study can uncover treatable disorders like sleep apnea. Bringing up these tests with your doctor, cognitive screening, lab panel, MRI, and sleep evaluation provides a clear starting point for answers and support. Act now. Early action leads to more options and better care. Simple habits can make a powerful difference in protecting brain health, even when early signs of dementia appear. Research from the Lancet Commission finds that up to 40% of dementia cases worldwide could be delayed or prevented by changing certain daily routines. A Mediterranean-style diet, rich in olive oil, leafy greens, nuts, berries, and fish, has been linked to better memory and slower cognitive decline. Meals in coastal villages of Greece and Italy often include colorful vegetables, beans, and whole grains, paired with regular social gatherings. These traditions offer more than nutrition. They keep minds active through conversation and connection. Physical activity is another pillar of defense. Becoming active with regular walks, gardening, or gentle exercise classes helps maintain muscle strength and supports healthy blood flow to the brain. Even 30 minutes a day can lower risk, according to large cohort studies. For those with mobility challenges, chair exercises or stretching routines are effective alternatives. Keeping the body moving also improves sleep and mood, which are closely tied to cognitive health. Mental stimulation matters just as much. Puzzles, crosswords, learning a new language, or picking up a creative hobby all challenge the brain's networks. Social engagement, joining a book club, volunteering, or simply sharing a walk with a friend has been shown to build resilience against cognitive decline. Managing blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol is critical too, as heart health and brain health go hand in hand. Small steps add up. Choosing nutritious foods, moving daily, and staying mentally and socially active give everyone a way to protect their independence and memory. The path to a healthier brain is built on everyday choices, each one a quiet act of hope. Right now, dementia is rising faster than the world can prepare. Every 3 seconds, someone develops it. Early action is the only proven way to hold the line. This isn't just about memory. It's about protecting independence, dignity, and connection in every family. Awareness today means hope tomorrow. The signs are not silent. If we listen, we can change the future.